And in my experience, the more educated you are, the easier it is for you to code switch down, okay? I can speak to people on a lower level of education, of intelligence, because I've been around them. Like, I have a higher intelligence, so I can bring myself down to other people, okay?
He was talking about the energy. He's saying like you were teaching him about modeling and mirroring the energy. And he's like, yo, if I'm all hyping this person, and then when they say like, hey, how you doing? How do I instantly switch it down? So it goes like the thermostat versus the mom. So you meet them on their level, right? So if you hear them like okay, greet, like I'm like, what's up, man?
What's happening, man?
Well, be super cool though. Like, what's up with you, dog? Oh, everything's cool, man. You been alright, man? Yeah.
Just like that.
Just like that. And then before you know it, I'm up to, yeah, man, it was popping last night. You know what I mean? Right. But first I gotta meet you down there so that I don't scare you. You know what I mean? But that's the whole thing. Like, you ramp them back up, you meet them where they at, and then you can pull them up. But you can't reach them if you're not down there with them yet.
Right.
Well, here's the thing. I cared about her. And because I cared about her, I felt her energy. It wasn't about me. It wasn't about me and being right and getting things right. It was about her. So because I made it about her, I felt her energy. Okay? I felt her energy and let myself go. Okay? It was a drop in energy. Because I'm really excited that I'm able to train you guys, right? And so to move from that to, hey, what's going on? It's a shift. And the only reason I shifted is because I felt her. Like, what's going on? What are you gonna do? What's happening here? Please make me feel comfortable. All of those things are going through her head. Like, don't make me feel silly up here, right? All those things are going through her head. Okay? So I know what's going through her head because I'm really caring about her. Okay? Anybody else? Yes.
All right, you made an example about the abortion conversation. So
You've had that one?
No, I was wondering, like in that same type of situation, like let's say if they were so engaged that they asked you how you felt, like what was your opinion on abortion? How would you avoid that?
This is where you do something like Haziq said, right? You transfer it to something else. All you have to do is avoid the question, okay? Say, I respect how you feel, but I don't really like to share my opinion about any of that because I see that sometimes people will get into confrontations over something that we have no control over, right? And by instantly putting myself out there that way and respectfully declining to go to that level and push it back to where I needed it to go, right, is
or
connection with aggression.
Now, what else I would do is just kind of validate everybody. So I would be like, man, I think everybody has the choice to do whatever they want,
That's also a great choice.
See, the thing is, if you avoid giving a response, then you put distance between yourself. Mm-hmm. You put distance between you and the prospect. So you want them to believe that you're a person with integrity.
Yeah.
So if they feel that you're backpedaling, they feel that you have something to hide. Mm-hmm. You certainly don't agree with them, because if you did, you would. You'd say, yeah, I agree. So you don't do that. You just say, hey, man, to each their own. You know what I mean? It's a difficult decision either way you look at it.
I tell you what,
you incorporate intelligence into it.
I tell you what, you're gonna. I tell you what could help you $600.
Right? Yeah, actually.
That's right.
I'm actually going to say this is the better approach.
Your personality has to fit all of, like, when you come with responses like that, your personality has to fit that. You can't just say something like that and be like, wow, that seems so odd coming out of your mouth, as opposed to saying, it came out of your mouth. Yeah. Your personality is right along line with all that, right?
Yeah, that's actually the better approach. Hey, everyone's entitled. Everyone can, everyone has the option. Whatever it is, if you put it as a whole, then you're solidifying them.
Bingo.
Not you, but them. They're separate from you, right?
Yeah,
there was a couple of things that you mentioned earlier. One, the passive dominance thing.
Passive dominance.
All right, the passive dominance thing is a very important thing for a lot of, especially young people and especially young males to get. Because, see, in all my years in the street, I never had a problem with a cop, and people never understood that. I never ever had a problem with a cop. Cops have always bent over backwards for me. There's some kind of way I work with them, whether it be in the pull over the highway, I get pulled over the highway, I don't get tickets. None of that stuff. Cops have arrested me and then said, I'm sorry I arrested you. Let me help you get out of here as quickly as possible. I'm gonna stay until my shift is over, and then I'm gonna go with you and go down and speak on your behalf and tell them, this was a mistake. This has happened to me over and over again. And I've never acquiesced to a cop. I've never kowtowed to a cop. I've never, played down or been aggressive. I deal with the person and not the occupation. And until he said passive dominance, it never really occurred to me that that's what I was using. It was like, I'm not afraid of you, and I don't need you to be afraid of me. That's what it comes down to. That's what you're dealing with. When you interacting with another human being, you're interacting with a human being. You're not interacting with the style of clothes that they wear. You're not interacting with the amount of money they apparently spent on their clothes, whatever. You're interacting with the person. If you interact with the person, all of the apprehensions that make you have that anxious energy or the apprehension about approaching them, all that goes away.
Or preconceived notion.
Because that's preconceived notions come from you dealing with the aesthetic instead of dealing with the person. Oh, this cop here pulled me over, man. I know he's gonna be on some shit. Got to this, that, and the other, whatever. You're already making up in your mind how you're going to react to a person you haven't even encountered yet. You're giving that situation energy. This goes with any interaction you have with any human being out there, with every kind of person you can think of.
But not energy like a winner, right? Because we could give it energy, but give it energy like you assuming victory.
Right. Because people like that. People like when they get something from you that, yeah, hi, call you back, hi. People like when you have something that they want for themselves, and it's not necessarily what you're appearing, but just what you're giving, just what you're emoting. It's like, man, I want that, man. I want something that you might not even pay any attention to, because it's kind of natural for you. They're like, man, I want that. I wish I could stand up in a room and just talk to people and just look everybody in the face and not feel no kind of way. I don't give a shit how none of y'all feel. And it's not I don't care about you. I just don't concern myself with your feelings. What the fuck can I do about your feelings? I can't do anything about what you feel or what you think. Nothing at all. So why bother myself with that? That's what people do. They bother themselves with what other people are going to do or think or feel. Then they try to manipulate and control it. And they end up creating a conflict where there was none. You know what I'm saying? You don't have anything to do with that. You're an observer. You're not the cause of anybody's behavior. I don't care who they are. Whether it's your boyfriend or your mama or your girlfriend or your sister, you're not the cause. Don't put yourself in the center of everything and think that everything is evolving around you and everything is happening because you're there. It was happening when you weren't there, when you won't be there no more. That person is who they are. They're going to be that person regardless. You just happen to be there to see it. There's somebody being an ass right now. You got shit to do with it. You pull up beside them in the car, and they be an ass to you, and you think, oh, this is what I think I'm going to think about you. You're not a part of that. You know what I'm saying? That is something you have to keep in mind when you're interacting with these prospects. Because that's what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about prospects. We're here to talk about helping people understand that this is an opportunity. This is something that you can do. This is something that you should do. Period. I don't care if you're Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett does it. If Warren Buffett does it, you should be doing it. Anybody we come into contact with on a daily basis should definitely be doing it. You know what I'm saying? So you just have to deal with that, and it's that passive dominance. It's just, I'm assured of myself. Wouldn't you like to be assured of yourself? Let me show you how it was done. I'm gonna be it. And the more you be it, the more you'll see it, the more you'll attract it. And that's all you want, because you don't want nothing else on your team. You don't. You do not. You don't want to be dragging dead bodies. You do not want to be doing that. But don't look at people as $100. Look at them as, like Shaquille always says, this is your business partner. If you wouldn't have a business partner, you wouldn't keep their money and everything that come with it. I wanted to ask you, what would you say to somebody about, like these people who are, I'm kind of shy. I don't like to talk to people. like, because realistically, you can't do this if you don't want to talk to people. So, well, when you meet them in person or talk on the phone, you can't do this until you talk to them.
I'm gonna make sure that everyone gets a copy of that. I actually had someone like that today in my class. And they're like, oh, you know, I get up here and I can't really do this. And I'm thinking, that's funny because you're doing it right now. Like,
Right.
you're talking to somebody, right? You don't know me, and because a lot of my prospects are strangers. Like, I'm approaching people. I have no problem approaching people. So, if they talk to me, then, hey, you just did it.
Right.
Right? But
I probably should be turning around and stuff. This isn't working. You know what I mean? You're gonna think ahead. You're gonna say, all right, I came, I know I gotta go out, we can't go out that way, I'm gonna have to go around here, walk around that way. I can either go that way to get around to this walking dead, or I could probably go around here, go to this gate. Like, you're gonna think it out, because ultimately you wanna make sure that the first step is the best step towards the next step to get you to that last step. And if you think like that, you won't be tripping over your fucking self all the time. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So that is something that a lot of people just don't, depending on what you come from. You dig? If you come from a life where a misstep can cause you to lose everything, then you tend to be more mindful. But if you've had a life where you've been kind of sheltered, then, you know, if you make a mistake, somebody pick you up and say, you all right? Wipe your boo-boo for you, whatever. You know? But this is not that. This is certainly not that. You'll be watching people F3, F4, F5, and F7 above your ass so fucking quick, you know, because they were making steps now already. My steps now ain't about none of that. My steps now are about global. My steps now, I'm making determinations now. I'm not going to do this unless I can see global at the end of it. Global. You understand me? Global. So that's what it is, man. Like, don't play with this, bro. $114,000 a month is good paper. And it can be done. It's being done. So think about where you want to be. Begin with the end in mind, is what the man said, right?
yeah,
That's what it does.
your paraphrasing was much better than that.